Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill. America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal, and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents, something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Donald Trump's inauguration for his second term took place on a day etched in American history, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This convergence of events, a celebration of civil rights, and a transfer of power was not lost on observers. Trump, known for his direct and often divisive rhetoric, chose this poignant day to outline a vision for America rooted in traditional values. His focus, a two-gender framework, and its implications for the Black community, both in the United States and abroad. The inauguration itself, held indoors due to extreme weather, was a spectacle of Americana. Carrie Underwood lent her powerful vocals to America the Beautiful. Christopher Macchio, a familiar face from the silver screen, took on the national anthem. The presence of prominent figures like Elon Musk and former President George W. Bush added to the weight of the occasion. This was not just another inauguration, it was a declaration that Trump's vision for America was here to stay. Trump's speech was a departure from the soaring rhetoric often associated with such events. He spoke plainly, directly addressing the American people about the challenges facing the nation. His message was clear. America had lost its way, straying from the values that made it great. He promised a return to strength, prosperity, and a firm commitment to what he deemed traditional American values. The choice of MLK Day for this message was a deliberate one. By invoking the legacy of Dr. King, Trump aimed to frame his vision as a continuation of the fight for equality, albeit one rooted in a different interpretation of progress. This framing immediately sparked debate, with some praising Trump's boldness and others condemning it as a cynical attempt to co-opt a day meant to celebrate inclusivity and progress. At the heart of Trump's inaugural address was a concept that would become a defining theme of his second term, two genders. This message, delivered with Trump's characteristic bluntness, sent shockwaves through the nation and beyond. For some, it was a breath of fresh air, a reaffirmation of traditional values in an increasingly progressive world. For others, it was a step backward, a rejection of the hard-won rights of LGBTQ+ individuals. Trump presented his two-gender framework as a cornerstone of his vision for a stronger, more unified America. He argued that embracing traditional gender roles would restore order and stability to a society grappling with rapid social change. He went further, suggesting that this stance was not about exclusion, but about protecting the values and beliefs of a significant portion of the American population. This message resonated particularly strongly with certain segments of the Black community. Trump, throughout his political career, had cultivated a complex and often contradictory relationship with Black America. He had been accused of racism and bigotry, yet he also enjoyed surprising levels of support among some Black voters. His two-gender message seemed to tap into a vein of social conservatism present within some Black communities, groups who felt alienated by the rapid pace of social change and the perceived excesses of the LGBTQ+ rights movement. Trump's emphasis on two genders was not simply a matter of social policy. He framed it as an economic issue as well. He argued that embracing traditional family structures with clearly defined gender role would lead to stronger families, safer communities, and ultimately a more prosperous nation. This argument, while appealing to some, raised concerns among others who saw it as a simplistic and potentially harmful oversimplification of complex social and economic realities. Trump's focus on a two-gender framework extended beyond America's border, a nation grappling with its own internal debates about LGBTQ+ rights. This seemingly random reference highlighted a key aspect of Trump's worldview, a deep skepticism of globalism and a belief in the sovereign right of nations to determine their own values. Ghana, in recent years, had faced mounting pressure from international organizations and Western governments to adopt more progressive LGBTQ+ policies. This pressure, often framed as a matter of human rights, had sparked a backlash within Ghana, with many arguing that it amounted to cultural imperialism. Trump, by invoking Ghana in his speech, signaled his sympathy for this view. Trump's message resonated with some Ghanaians who saw his stance as a validation of their right to chart their own course. They argued that LGBTQ+ rights, while important, should not be imposed on a society that was not ready to embrace them. They feared that doing so would lead to social unrest and undermine traditional values. Others, however, were deeply concerned by Trump's words. They argued that his stance emboldened those who sought to persecute and discriminate against LGBTQ+ individuals in Ghana. They pointed to the fact that Trump's rhetoric coincided with a surge in anti-LGBTQ+ sentiment and violence in the country. For them, Trump's message was not about protecting Ghanaian sovereignty. It was about legitimizing hate and intolerance. Trump's inauguration speech, with its emphasis on a two-gender framework and its implications for the Black community both in America and in Ghana ignited a firestorm of controversy. It was a speech that defied easy categorization, simultaneously appealing to traditional values while raising concerns about social progress and human rights. Supporters hailed Trump's boldness, praising him for speaking truths that others were afraid to utter. They saw his message as a much-needed corrective to what they perceived as the excesses of the political left and the erosion of traditional American values. They applauded his willingness to stand up for the silent majority, those who felt marginalized by the rapid pace of social change. Critics, on the other hand, were appalled. They accused Trump of bigotry, intolerance, and a dangerous disregard for the rights of marginalized communities. They argued that his words would embolden those who sought to discriminate and incite violence against LGBTQ+ individuals both in the United States and abroad. They saw his presidency as a threat to the very fabric of American democracy and a betrayal of its core values of equality and justice for all. Trump's inauguration on MLK Day, a day meant to celebrate unity and progress, served as a stark reminder of the deep divisions that continue to plague American society. His speech, far from healing these divisions, seemed to exacerbate them, setting the stage for a tumultuous second term marked by fierce debates about social values, human rights, and the very soul of the nation. Only time would tell what lasting impact Trump's vision, rooted in a two-gender framework and a rejection of what he deemed imposed values, would have on the Black community, on Ghana, and on the world at large.